Hey everybody, I'm Adrian and this is Reviewed. I wanted to do a quick update video. If you watched my previous video, I reviewed the Stronghero Splendid PLA, and I ran into some issues with the filament popping and leaving some imperfections on the finish at higher temperatures. And I wanted to dry the filament and give it a try again, see if it was moisture related, because this particular one had been open for about 2.5 months. It had been sealed in a container with desiccant, but I just wanted to see if I could figure out what the problem was with it. So I dried it and tried printing it again on the CR10 Mini and at 205 degrees again, and it did the same thing. It was popping and some imperfections in the finish, just like it was before. So I tried it at 220 on my CR10, which also from my previous video, my CR10 is a hardened steel nozzle. 220 is about as low as I can go and still get consistent extrusion. So on the CR10 at 220, this one, there was no popping, there were no imperfections. This one printed really nice. The surface is really nice. It's a little bit less silky and glossy than it was on the CR10 Mini at the same temperature, which is kind of odd, but I guess that's just the difference with the hardened steel nozzle. But so at this point it was looking like it wasn't a problem with the filament, so I tried the new version of the Splendid back on the CR10 Mini at 220 degrees, and it was doing the same thing. It started popping again and leaving imperfections. So once I realized it was going to continue doing that, I started stepping down the temperature 1 degree at a time, letting it print just a handful of layers, and it continued doing it. I kept stepping down the temperature 1 degree at a time, and when I hit 199 degrees, it stopped popping and it started printing really nice again. So I actually ended up stepping it down to 195, and basically from about here up, it printed perfect. There's no imperfections to it. It came out really, really nice. And a side note, the blue on the new version of the Splendid is really nice. I really like this color. It came out really nice. So from doing that testing, I realized it's not a problem with the filament. It's definitely not an issue with the filament. It's not the filament's fault that it was doing the popping and the imperfections. It's something with my CR10 Mini, and I don't know at this point what it is. I've had the printer for a few months, and to be honest, this is the first time I've printed over 195 degrees with it. I've never had a need to. It prints so nice at 190 to 195 that's just what I've always used. So I'm not sure. When I first got the printer, it did have some serious under extrusion. It was pretty bad, but it turned out to be two of the issues that are one more common than others, but fairly common with Creality printers. The more common one was that the PTFE tube wasn't fully seated in the hot end to where it actually would seat up against the nozzle. There was a gap there, and that can cause random under extrusion. Mine had a pretty big gap in it. I replaced it with some Capricorn tubing, made sure it seated really well, and that got rid of most of it, but it would still get a little bit. And then I noticed that on the extruder, the gear was slipping on the filament some, and turns out that was another less common but issue with some Creality printers, where there's not enough spring tension to hold it in place. So I did what most people seem to do, and I just put a couple washers in there. Solved the issue. It's printed great since then. So honestly, I haven't dug into it yet, but I'm kind of stumped. I don't know what the issue is with it. If anybody has any ideas, I'd love to hear them. Just post them in the comments. But that's pretty much the update. I just wanted to put out there that it wasn't a problem with the filament. I'm still really happy with this filament. I think it's great. It prints really well. It's a really, really smooth, nice finish on it. The issue was an issue on my side with my printer. So once again, I really like the Stronghero Splendid filament, the old version and the new version, both of them. I think they both have their place depending on what you're printing and what you want as far as color shift. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and happy printing.